DVN Devon. Right now we're back into the 200 moving average, which, you know, one thing about these stocks is once they move too far away from the 200 moving average, guess what happened? They pulled back down to retest that level again, push right up, we couldn't hold because of resistance, and back to the downside, held this 200 moving average, and then boom boom. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. This is your boy Francis. Welcome to the Trading Success Show. Now, this is not a recommendation to buy or to sell any stock or equity. This is for entertainment purposes only. Now, looking at the market, you can see how the market really closed red on Friday. We got beaten down so much, or in the sense that a lot of hands are taking money out of the market. Okay, the short sellers are winning the battle. But of course, this is also a wealth transfer method as well. So long as your position or your portfolio is well positioned in a way that when the market begins to climb back up, you'll be able to do better in this market. Looking at technology is red, consumer cyclical is also red, and guess what happened? The Fed raised their rates as well. Now, according to CNBC article by Make It, you know, the interest rate will really affect you know, credit cards, auto financing, mortgages, and other variable rate loans as well. So, you know, the reason why they are doing this is because, you know, this will limit a lot of people or businesses from, you know, applying for loans, because the interest rate is so high. So they want to make it in a way whereby the consumer is in a better position to enjoy what they have going on. And the Fed, they want to achieve what they call a smooth landing. Now, according to NY Post, right, it says by hiking interest rates, the Fed is aiming to cool demand within the economy and thereby lower prices for consumers. Higher interest rate makes it more expensive to borrow money. So you will see it will be difficult for you and me to borrow money because the interest rate will be so high, we will be dissuaded from, you know, getting loans. Now, though with our inflation, according to this, it says with inflation running north of 9%, we are not at the finish line yet, and there will be more interest rate increases in the coming months. Of course, the Fed will continue to increase rates until they achieve their, you know, a landing point, which they call soft landing. So they will do whatever it takes, just like they cut rates back then in 2020 as well during the pandemic, right? So they will also do whatever it takes to make sure that the consumer is also in a better place, in a good place, and in a well-shaped up form. Also, the news about the UK still also didn't help the market as well, and we sold right off. This is what I talked about in my previous video in the market. Take a listen. I also have my eyes on the monthly. I'm looking at this trend right here. That is what I'm looking at. If this area fails, right? If 380 doesn't hold, then we're gonna be looking for 360 in the coming days. Also taking a look. All right. So like I said, you know, if 363 area, 364 area doesn't hold, we'll be looking for the market to really push lower in the coming days. So keep an eye out. This is our S&P, okay? This is our S&P 500, and this is what I'm looking at. Okay, price pushing back into this 3,500 is possible, is doable, but only if this area, you know, fails to hold, which is this 3650 area. If it fails to hold as a support, thereby it will really cause a whole lot of selling back into the 3500. But for now, 3500 is going to act as an ultimate overall support. Even taking a look at Dow Jones as well, if this area fails, which we currently have right now, we'll be looking at 29,500, and if that area doesn't hold, guys, we'll be back down to almost the 2800, 500. So keep an eye out in this market. Look for stocks that are really in your zone that you can really get some to the upside. Now that we got the market out, and I'll be looking forward to some action in this coming week. And this market, we have SPY, and guess what? Again, know that this is not a recommendation to buy any stock whatsoever, guys, but our SPY at this point, we're back into support zone. Like I said in the video, right? 360 is our best bet for support. If this 365, 363 area doesn't hold, then we're pulling back down to 360. But if that's 370 reclaimed, then we can push back up to the upside. Like I said, 350 failed, we can push back to 363, and we got there based on my previous video. With all said and done, and the market begins to rally back up, we're gonna need that 380, 385 to really hold for continuation of this trend break in the market. Keep an eye out as well. Also looking at IWM is back to that area of demand, so keep an eye out. First stock here is gonna be CRM. CRM right now, we broke support. 155 broke and 150 broke. These are the two support I was looking at last week, so I decided to pick up some action, some long-term holding around this 145 area that we visited. So I'll be looking for support around that 145. If it holds, then we can bounce back into 150, 155 in the coming days on CRM. Square as well. What do we have? Square right now, we're pulling more lower right below our demand zone, so keep an eye out. 55 area holds, then I think we can pull back into this zone, so keep an eye out on Square, aka block. Nvidia, what do we have with Nvidia? Nvidia right now, if you take a look at Nvidia right now, we're forming a very solid trend support around this area. If this 125 area holds, then I'll be expecting a visit to 130, and when 130 really confirm, then we'll really push back into the 20 exponential moving average, which coincide with our 140. Also, AMD, which is also the semiconductor side, we broke the demand zone back into making a doji, right? So right now this doji is at the bottom, which indicate and signify, a bottom play. So we're really expecting this to bounce off this area. Why? Because if you take a look at the RSI, we are really in the oversold zone, so which is 25%. So I'll be looking for more to come around this area, which I also call the boom boom play or the bottom bounce play, actually our BB play. Also, WMT, Walmart is failing critical level. Okay, this is the support. So right now we're failing this area, push back into 130 zone, close. So right now our RSI is also decent, with sell volume coming in. 130 is going to act as our support. If it doesn't, I'll be expecting below 127.50 on Walmart. Looking at Coinbase as well, COIN, right now we're on a very critical level on Coinbase. If this area $60 spot doesn't hold, guys, we'll be looking at $55 or even $50 on the name. Ambarella, AMBA, right now we are at a very critical support level right now. So if this area holds, then we can expect a bounce right into $65 in the coming days or weeks to come. So keep an eye out as well. Also MO right now is we're looking at that $41 zone. So $41 hold and held, you know, pretty well. So we're looking for more to the upside if it does come. But then keep an eye out for the market as well, what the market is gonna do. UPST, this is upstart holding. Like I said, you know, trend lines are very critical in determining where the support is, right? So right now we pull into the support bounce, right now we're back into support. So what do you expect? We expect a bounce as soon as we see the green light in the market. So $21.20 is going to act as our support. ROIVN as well, Riven Automotive, right now we're feeling critical support zone. This is our uptrend, and right now we're failing that level. Okay, so if we can reclaim back this 50 exponential moving average, which is our $34 zone, then guess what, we can push back to the upside on that as well. We're also talking about Apple. So what is Apple doing? Apple right now, I was expecting below 150. We got that. I took some for a long position, and any pullback down again would be 145, and then I'll add some more to my long term on Apple. So keep an eye out as well. Talking about the banks right now, we're feeling critical level of support back into this area. See how Doji came back up, all of a sudden we bounced. So right now we got this huge hammer, and we're expecting some reaction on this name in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out on that as well. The last time we had that action was right around this area right now. That was between May and June, and then we bounced. We have that the same candle pattern, and we just need confirmation in terms of direction. Amazon right now we're looking at 115. I took some position around 115 and 112 area, and in anticipation of the move of the push back to the upside. If it doesn't hold, we'll be looking at 110 visit on Amazon. Then I can add some more to my long-term portfolio, because this is mainly long-term positioning for the long time to come, like, you know, 2 years or 5 years or so. So keep an eye out on all these names that I'm calling out. Fubu as well. Fubu, we also got momentum coming in. A huge volume came in on Friday, and we're really holding the $4. So I'll be expecting more to the upside. This didn't phase out at all, even with the market pushing lower. DVN Devon, right now we're back into the 200 moving average, which, you know, one thing about these stocks is once they move too far away from the 200 moving average, guess what happened? They pulled back down to retest that level again. Push right up, we couldn't hold because of resistance, and back to the downside. Held this 200 moving average, and then boom. So I'm expecting this to really hold this 200 moving average as well, which is our green line, in anticipation for the bounce to the upside on that name. Palantir as well. Another thing with Palantir, they've been, you know, receiving contract here and there with the American government, with the defense system. So right now we are really range bound between the $8 and $7 for now. We either break one of these, and then we can pick our direction. DKNG as well. This is a casino one, DraftKings, and you know, online betting. So right now we're looking at $15 break. If we break this area clean, then we'll be looking for $13.50 or even $13 on this name. For now, I'll be expecting to add some more to my position come this week. J&J as well. Right now J&J just didn't do much in terms of pulling back with the market. We also made this fantastic looking shape, and right now we are fighting the 50 exponential moving average to the upside. Next level is going to be our 200 moving average. So keep an eye out on J&J. I still like this stock to the upside as well. If you're taking a look at the market, you see this in history, this has been the highest highest in record in terms of puts volume. So the volume is so huge that, you know, we claim to be the highest so far. So I think, you know, I'll be expecting a bounce on these stocks, on these names in the market overall. So keep an eye out as well on those looking beautiful names as well. MNDY. This is Monday. Right now, Monday really respected the support zone, created this doji, and right now we'll be looking for confirmation to the upside or to break down to the downside. FedEx as well, I picked some up for a long-term hold. Right now we're back down, created this gap, so I picked some up for the long term. Right now we have this doji, so this is an indecision, so I'll be expecting more to come in the coming days. Look at what happened during this doji here. Look at what happened the doji here as well as this one. So guess what, I'll be expecting the same action as well on FedEx, but my positions are gonna be for long term as well. This is not a recommendation. GIS, I took some puts around the $81 zone in anticipation of the break back down this $80, so I took the $80 puts, and guess what, we're just ripping in profit as it comes, because I'll be expecting more to the downside into $78 zone. If it doesn't, then we'll be looking for 76 to really come. So keep an eye out as well on that. IIPR as well. Right now we have this range forming. I'm looking for a breakout at some point, so if we revisit $90 again, I'll be adding to my position, and then, you know, we'll look for the bounce back into above $100 on this name. Also talking about Tesla right now, Tesla really, we are in a support zone right now. 270, 275, it doesn't hold, then we'll be looking for 270 ultimately for that support bounce. So right now I got this trend that I'll be watching as we go, so look for a bounce around this 275 270 area in the coming days, then we can push back into 200 moving average. The 200 moving average is just, you know, dipping lower and lower and lower. I don't like that, but anyways, keep an eye out, see if something really happens. Also have Microsoft as well. Microsoft broke support, so I'll say keep an eye out, see if it reclaims support. Also talking about Meta, which is our Meta platform, aka Facebook, we're looking at 140 as our form of support. If it doesn't, then we'll be looking for a revisit of this trend as well. Also ABBV is Abivai. This didn't phase out with the market action, so I'll be looking for 145 in the coming days, and then we'll continue to push to the upside. Right now we are fighting what I call the 200 moving average to the upside, so keep an eye out on Abivai as well. It's a good name, it's a good name to keep an eye out on. SMH, I will be looking for support around 190, which we got this hammer looking shape, so I'll be expecting a bounce off this area, bounce off this 190 to the upside back. If we can reclaim 200, more buying is gonna come in onto this name. Interest rate, as we begin to expect interest rate to keep climbing and climbing and climbing, you know, guess what, all these loans that are variable loans that are not fixed loans, they're gonna keep going higher and higher and higher. So Feds, they're gonna do whatever it takes for them to really obtain that smooth landing in the market. Also another little one that I'm watching as well is SBLK. Okay, SBLK, $19 is acting as a support for now. If that area really holds, then expect $20 in the coming days. Also finally, this is not the remaining the only stocks we have. I will post the remaining one up on my Twitter and on my stock tweet. Netflix as well, we're looking for support right here around the 220. 220 is going to act as our support if the 225 breaks, and overall, if you look at the past action on that area with this 220 has always held as a support. Okay, so keep an eye out on that as well. Maybe we can shake hands we can shake the weekends and then bounce to reclaim the 20 exponential moving average into 250, 255. So keep an eye out on Netflix. I do like Netflix as well for a long-term hold. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for spending your weekend with me. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, concerns, you can email me at tradingsuccessshow@gmail.com. Peace and love, guys. Bye-bye.